Hello, gymnastics fans. Welcome back to the College Stick. I'm Ben. This is Bree. Thanks for joining us. Well, they did it, and I called it. Oklahoma for the 8th time in 12 years. KJ Kindler still has her dynasty going.
Well, I'm not upset because I do love them, but I was really pulling for Florida. Maybe next year, ladies.
Yeah, it was a really good finals to watch. Well, what's this all about? I didn't think Oklahoma had gold in their color
Maybe it
scheme.
was for gold medal, or maybe LSU was the favorite. I'll just leave that right here.
Stirring up some controversy. All right, let's go right into it. Lots to talk about. Starting with national semifinal number one. Now, for the semifinals and the finals, we had 6 judges now instead of the 4 that we were used to seeing in the regionals, or the 2 that we saw throughout the season. And they ended up dropping the top score and the bottom score from those judges. And then we saw wacky scores because then it had 4 decimal places for all the scores. So, and how do we get a 10, Bree?
So, 5 of them, 5 of 6 judges have to have a 10, which is why the highest, lowest, when they're dropped, if there's 2 995s, you're going to get a 9.9625 or whatever because that highest and lowest are dropped. So, yikes.
Yeah. So lower scores across the board is what we're expecting, and less tens. Mary Jo is back, so good to see her in the finals. Hopefully, they have her for like the regular season. Hopefully, ESPN includes her in because it's always helpful to hear her explanations. And then big news: Konnor McClain. We were all worried, but she was back on vault, bars, and beam. So, and boy, they really needed her,
And
didn't they?
she killed it. But
Yeah,
more to come
yeah,
on
she
that.
she sure did. Yeah, going into rotation one, again, we had low scores, a lot of low scores to be expected. But Kalia Lincoln and Kaylin Chio on vault.
Yeah, they scored the
Really,
same.
yeah, really good score, 99625 for them. So they really tore it up there. One thing that I really appreciated watching the telecast was they were showing the individual results after each rotation, which genius, right? Genius. So that was really nice that they included that. After the first rotation, we had LSU, Florida, Stanford, and then Georgia. So that's kind of how things fell after the first rotation. Going into the second rotation, though, Stanford had some issues on the vault.
That's not their best event, and we've seen that the last, I don't know, at least the last 6 weeks of the season. I'm Yikes! Not the only team who needs a new vault coach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and LSU only had 199 on the bars, or 99 or higher on the bars. And so Florida ended up taking the lead after the second rotation. It was Florida, LSU, Georgia, and Stanford after that second rotation. Going into the third rotation, we had Georgia with their usual floor rotation, which pulled them into second place. So which was really nice. And then LSU had some lower beam scores until Konnor McClain saved the day with a 995.
Saved the day. Absolutely put the team back on track. She is so awesome. So thank you, Konnor. Thanks for being back.
So after that third rotation was Florida, Georgia, LSU, and Stanford. So going into the fourth rotation, we had a great routine from Sky on bars, 9975, and then Riley McCusker got a 99875.
What? It was so awesome. I know. I know. Here's
Yeah.
here's it. Should have been a 10.
And I noticed Kaylin Chio was a little off the whole meet, I thought, for her, by her standards. But she came back on the floor. And those last 3 floor routines really saved the day for LSU and really caused a heartbreaker for the Gym Dogs.
But I predict Gym Dogs 4 on the floor next year. Stay tuned.
Ooh, bold statement. I like it. We didn't have any 10s from that first semifinal. Um, Going into the national semifinal 2, we had some big news coming from Oklahoma. Addison Feda ended up spraining her hand during conditioning exercises, and she would only compete in the beam both for semifinal 2 and in the finals, which was really kind of sad because she had such a strong start to the year and she was consistent throughout most of the year. But yeah, just wasn't meant to be Rotation 1, Faith Torrez. We found out that Faith Torrez was in the all-around for the first time
I
this
almost
year.
lost my shit. I was like, yes, finally, Faith. She was like the number one. She was an all rounder last year, and I know she was injured this year, so couldn't do that. But she proved her worth. She proved she is one of the best gymnasts in the country. I was so happy.
Yeah, yeah, and so because of the Feta injury, OU had a lot of lineup changes, and Faith, yeah, she started off great on the vault with a 99375, and then Kira Wells gets a 9975. Incredible vault, really, really
And
awesome.
aside from the favorites, obviously, Minnesota came to play in the semifinals too. Did you see that? They came to
Yeah,
play.
yeah, they didn't. I mean, they did really well in the regionals, and yeah, they brought it. They brought their A game in national semifinal too. They really, really did. We had Brooklyn Rowray on beam with a 99625. And so that was a really, really strong routine for her. And then UCLA had kind of a little slip on bars. We actually had Jordan Childs with a an uncharacteristic fall off the bars, which was kind of surprising there. So after rotation 1, it was Oklahoma, Minnesota, Arkansas, and UCLA. So going into rotation 2, we had Caitlin Smith in for Addison Feta on bars, and she did awesome. She got a 99125. So that was really nice. And then Faith crushed it, 995. So that was pretty sweet too. There, I was she had such a good meet. After rotation 2, it was Oklahoma, Minnesota, UCLA, Arkansas, and it was really close, really close. Not so much with Oklahoma, but with the last three teams, very very close. In the third rotation, we had Faith with a 995 on the beam, of course. So that at that point we were wondering, could she get the all around? And then after rotation 3, we had Oklahoma, UCLA, Minnesota, and Arkansas. So things were just shaken up there. Rotation 4 was crazy, just crazy. UCLA just kind of dropped the ball on the vault, and
Drop their butts on the ball.
well, one of them did at least, right? And so yeah, it was very unfortunate for UCLA. But Minnesota going to the four on the floor. First time ever that a team outside of the top 10 was going to the four on the floor. So, I'll give a heart. It was really, really nice. And the most exciting thing, in my opinion, was Faith Torres, all around champion. Just
I love her,
unbelievable.
but I mean, who doesn't? I did want to say though, we're talking about Stanford new vault coach. Let's add UCLA to that, and I have one more to add later. So just stay tuned.
No tens in this rotation or in this meet rather, but we'll go into the individual results. The individual national champions for 2026. We got Faith Torres, like we said, for Oklahoma, first time in the all around, and she is the national champion. Congratulations, Faith. That's awesome. We already talked about the Kira Wells vault. That was really really nice. Riley McCusker on uneven bars. She is truly the bar queen of 2026. Brooklyn Roy on beam with a 99625. And then Jordan Childs on the floor. No surprise there, 995. I'd say she's the queen of the floor for 2026. So, really, really awesome job from those athletes. And then we move on to the four on the floor.
Samuel in the house.
Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, that was a nice little surprise there. We didn't get to meet him or anything like that, but exciting when you see like a big celebrity like that at these meets. It's like wow,
It wasn't
awesome.
for lack of trying though. Ben's a huge fan, so he was kind of like doing like fanboying over it. Like
Yeah. Like we talked about, Addison Feta was still nursing her hand injury for this one, so they only had her in on the beam. That first rotation was pretty exciting. Lily Peterson, 99875 on the vault,
should have
and
been a 10.
should have been a 10. And Hannah Shively got a 99626 on the vault. So two really strong vaults there to start out for Oklahoma. Then we had Ostrom on the bars. She only got a 99 on her bar
Watch it
routine.
again. Should have been a 10.
Should have been a 10. Yeah, I don't know. After that first rotation, though, we had Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, and Minnesota. So they just kind of fell right in their respective ranks there, really. Going into rotation 2, how about Ella Murphy on the bars? 9.9125.
You know she's my girl. She is so awesome. She is so clutch. And after Lily took a step on the bars, she stepped up. She didn't step. Sorry. And got that score.
Yeah, that was great. Moving over to the vault with LSU, Konnor McClain, they only gave her a 9.8875. I thought that was scored a little low.
Yeah, same. I'm not saying that one should have been a 10, but it was pretty low.
Yeah. Brooklyn Rowray again on beam with a 99125, along with Jordan Lyden too. So really strong beam rotation there for Minnesota. And then Chio on the vault. All 6 judges gave her a 10.
That was pretty cool to see everybody wait, hold up the signs, and turn them. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really, really neat. She definitely deserved that really great vault, as usual. So no surprises there. After the second rotation, we had Oklahoma, LSU, Minnesota, and Florida. So Florida wasn't that Florida had a really bad floor rotation. It was just that Minnesota had a really strong beam rotation. So yeah, that's how the cards fell there. And then rotation 3, LSU with a strong bar rotation. Konnor McClain leading the way, 995.
Should have been a 10.
Should have been a 10. And Oklahoma had this uncharacteristic beam rotation for them. Addison Feta started it off, and she had kind of a big hop on the dismount, right, which ended up getting her a lower score. And then right after that, we had the fall. So Kara Wells fell off the beam, putting pressure on everybody
And
else.
guess who saved the day? My girl Ella.
Ella Murphy.
Eh.
9.9375 for her, which was really awesome. And then Lily follows it up with a 995
and a squeak.
And we heard
we were
it
at the end of the beam, and she's like,
So after rotation 3, we had LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, and Minnesota, and it was super close. We were less than a tenth between the first and second teams there. So rotation 4, Sky Blakely on bars, 995.
Should have been a 10.
Celine on bars, 995.
Should have been a 10.
Florida doing Florida things on the bars there. And Oklahoma does just enough on the floor to seal the deal and take the victory. And interestingly enough, as most people know, Kaylin Chio could have won it for LSU, but she needed a 10 on the beam. And that's kind of a tall order, even for Kaylin Chio. So wasn't meant to be for LSU.
Did you forget? When Lexi fell off the beam, Ben started crying. That's all.
Well, I'm a sympathetic crier, so she was yeah, I got all misty. I'm getting misty right now just thinking about it. It was sad, but wasn't her fault though. Wasn't her fault. It was still a very, very good meet for LSU. Lily Peterson gets the all around with a 39.725. But she didn't, because the all around doesn't count during the finals, right? The champion is determined during the semifinals. So, but she was the best.
Sorry, Lily.
Minnesota put in a great effort, though. Even though they ended up, coming in fourth, you had Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, Minnesota. Very respectable and an awesome season result for them. So, really, really cool. Ended up being just a great final. I was glad we were there to see it. What to watch coming up? It's all over now, but of course, we might come up with a couple more episodes here in the off season, just to talk about some hot topics. Anything you can think of?
We have a lot of news. We have a lot of people entering a transfer portal. Jocelyn Robertson, hint, hint. We have to talk about some things with people talking about lack of Minnesota coverage. We have a lot of topics we'd like to talk about. So just pay attention, subscribe if you want to see if these videos come out, if you like them. If not, then don't. So, hey.
Yeah, we hope you stick around.
See you next time.
See ya.